The West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network, a coalition of 53 civil organizations, has called on ECOWAS to expedite the review of its supplementary protocol to address the socio-political challenges in the region. They make the call in collaboration with Tournons la Page, West African Civil Society Institute, and other pro-democracy actors across the region in Abuja, the nation's capital. They say there is an urgent need for ECOWAS to promulgate a quote-on-presidential team limit in harmony with all proposed revisions of the ECOWAS supplementary protocol, saying this would forestall the rising cases of military interventions and insecurity in the region.
As regional civil society organizations dedicated to the prosperity and development of the region, we are deeply concerned about the political and security crisis and the risks to the unity and cohesion of the community. These developments, including unconstitutional and undemocratic changes of governments, have occurred and persist despite the normative framework on peace and security and the ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. Again, we note similarly the resolution at the 64th Ordinary Session to convene an extraordinary summit on unconstitutional changes of government, that is UCGs, the call on the Gambia for the adoption of a new constitution ahead of the 2026 general elections, the support to Guinea-Bissau in the consolidation of democracy, and efforts to consolidate peace and stability in the country, including through the completion of the ongoing review of the constitution and security sector reform, and initiatives in support of the development of the regional counter-terrorism force in the region. Showing favor of limiting presidents to 2 terms, ECOWAS should recognize this fact and the fact that presidential term limits by far is the preferred option among citizens, and as such respond accordingly to these aspirations. ECOWAS should therefore take immediate steps through the reform to curtail the situation in Togo from becoming the new norm in the region. We also call on ECOWAS to open discussions and dialogue with the government of Togo on the recent amendment to the constitution that received wide protest from pro-democracy actors and citizens, including the Togolese Conference of Bishops, academics, the CSOs, and the diaspora community.
Nigeria is currently surrounded by several military rules. At a time when on the agenda was about term limits, how do we change this? And I know Ghana, at the time, Ghana was actually the chair of the ECOWAS. They were the forefront in pushing for this. And now populism is there, but we have a challenge to also decolonize ourselves and also take away the dictatorship we find in the sub-region, and how to drive democracy in a manner that will be beneficial, that will promote development, that will take away poverty and inequality in our midst. So it is in that context that the formation of WADEMOS in the last 2 years has driven its own strength. It is our responsibility to push this, and also our responsibility to work simultaneously with great institutions like the Economic Community of West African States and some other regional institutions to ensure that we'll bring democracy back to the continent.
The highest manipulation is the use of social media. And there's a Russian mill that has taken over that corridor, particularly in that Sahel, sending all manner of information that the military regime is doing better. Friends, the military regime is doing worse, if that word exists. In fact, Russia helped these countries to create a scene that looks like everything is okay. Whereas in those areas, human rights abuse is going on, they are killing their people, and it's a worse scenario. So military regime can never equal democratic government.
Where you have a huge number of young people, huge energy, unmatched energy if you ask me, who have no partake, in the runnings of their own affairs, they have no opportunity to contribute to their own development. In fact, the development does not work for them. You should not be surprised that young people will always want to try an alternative, design or instituted to run governance. Governance is for the people, for the Democrats, the policymakers, but where we failed is what is the results that we are seeing now. So the populism agenda that is flying across the Sahel, and I think some section of young people in Mali, Niger are coming back, that it's not actually what we thought about. So it is left for us as pro-democracy actors to begin to change the narrative.